Hello and welcome to episode number 97 of the Hobbies and Happiness podcast, where we talk about the hobby that makes us happy, card games. I'm one of your hosts, Dan.
And I'm Jim, and today we're going over how to not kick off a card game.
All right, yeah, this is a very interesting topic, but I think it's actually very, very relevant for a lot of things that are going on in the world of TCGs currently. So before we get into it, we need to talk about our sponsor, Amazon Audible. If you head over to our affiliate link, www.hobbies. No, that is audibletrial.com/hobbies and happiness. I can never seem to get that link right, Jim.
It's all right.
It's like never. But again, head over to that link, audibletrial.com/hobbies and happiness. Check out that affiliate link. You can sign up for your free 30-day trial of Amazon's Audible service. That's right. It's a free 30-day trial of Amazon's Audible service. You get 1 free credit added to your account. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, get 2 free credits added to your account that you can redeem for any audiobook on the service. That's right. When you use that credit, you get to keep that audiobook for as long as you have that account. And if you cancel, you can cancel before the end of that 30 days if you don't like the service, and you still get to keep that free book on your account. Again, that's right. So again, head over to that affiliate link, www.audibletrial.com/hobbies and happiness. Sign up for your free 30-day trial of Amazon's Audible service today. All right, we've got an interesting topic today. Kind of scratching our heads about what to talk about today, and then Jim asked how something went for me this past weekend, and I just stared. I gave him like a death stare.
He's like, "Oh, we're gonna talk about
it." We are so yeah. We are talking about how not to launch a card game, and right now. So do you? I've been thinking about this recently. Like, I really do feel like we're kind of in a TCG resurgence. I think the word resurgence is probably a better word to use than renaissance. I mean, it's semantics, yes, but with all of the games that are coming out right now, I really think it kind of is a resurgence. And I personally, I think it's in a good way, because I mean, again, we're card game players, we love these card games. But are you seeing something similar? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit ago, and it's just like it's getting to a point where there's just every single month now. It's like, oh, here's a card game, here's another card game, here's another card game, and it is nice to see, but it's also like it's so much, it's a lot.
It's always spoiler season.
It's always spoiler season. For any card game,
for any, yeah. But what's also kind of nice too is there's a few Japanese style TCGs coming. I'm looking forward to Shadowverse Evolve. I don't know how much I'll actually get into it.
Yeah.
But that game, that digital TCG is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's also Grand Archive is another one. And then there's Battle Spirit Saga is another one. Saga. There's a bunch.
Looks beautiful.
It does. It does look gorgeous. Have you checked it out at all?
I haven't really looked into it. I know I'll see random ads for it on YouTube or on TikTok, and I'm just like, this game looks gorgeous. And then I scroll.
But it's that right there. It's that scroll.
Yeah.
It's that scroll. And so it's interesting too, because this year, I feel like we're just getting inundated with. I'm making a card game, a new TCG, here's a new card game. And what does it take to captivate our attention these days?
Yeah.
Especially as an audience, like, what does it take? And it's interesting to me, because right now, for me personally, I am looking. There's a few games card games that I'm really looking to dive into. For me personally, Alpha Clash and Disney Lorcana.
Yeah.
And I'm also kind of intrigued with Star Wars Unlimited. Okay. But those are the ones that I'm really interested in. And with the two for me being Alpha Clash and Disney Lorcana, like those are the two for me that are like, those are the ones that I'm really looking to dive into. And I kind of want to like look at that for me and ask the question, why? Like, I remember when we talked to Rich,
Mm-hmm.
okay? I remember one of the first things we said to him, dude, we were seeing your ads like all over the place. So we had to reach out.
Yeah.
Something worked there.
Yep.
Something worked that got me interested.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we talked to him, because you mentioned seeing some ads.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was your feeling before we talked to Ridge about that game? Like, where were you kind of at with that? Do you remember that? By chance?
I don't think I really remember because it has been a little bit.
Yes, it's been a little bit. Yes.
But yeah, I think it was roughly around the same thing I was thinking with the battle.
Spirits.
Yeah, Battle Spirits.
Yeah.
Of just like, oh, okay, yeah, this game looks cool. I like the artwork on it. The card outline itself looked really nice. But I didn't put too much more thought into it other than I'm going through Facebook. I'm like, oh, there's another Alpha Clash. There's another Alpha Clash.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think he did a good job. So.
I mean, something worked. Like something clearly worked to get me to look into. And again, I'm just one consumer, right?
Yeah.
We're just two consumers, right? But something made us stop and look. Okay, and it wasn't the IP because this is a brand new IP that I've never heard of, right? So I think that's a perfect example of we're just throw the IP. Throw the IP question out the window because it's not the IP that's the biggest thing that's going to make someone pay attention. Now, it could very well make someone pay attention. Again, look at Disney Lorcana, look at all these large IPs, right? That could be a big selling point. And I think for Disney Lorcana, they're using it to their advantage, right? Yeah. But again, just because you have a big IP does not mean it's going to be successful. It does not mean you are going to be a success in utilizing that IP.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you saying gameplay is more important than the IP? That seems like a topic we could talk about.
Just a little bit. So, all right. Well, Jim? What was the question that you asked me not that long ago?
Oh, like,
let's just get into it, right?
Yeah. I said, Dan, how did that Dual Force go?
Oh, dude. All right. So, if you all caught the stream on last Friday. Okay, I streamed on last Friday for close to 5 hours. I streamed really for a long time. I was prepped and ready. I was prepared. I was getting ready to stream the DC Dual Force open beta weekend. Okay, I had my beta key. I was all set to go. Okay, and again, I went into this fully prepared that there will probably be some hiccups, and and I'm interested to talk with you about this because as a video game player, especially with all of your RPGs,
my MMOs,
your MMOs, you've definitely got some things to add here. Okay?
Oh yeah, there's some bad startups.
Yes, right. So I'm prepared. Okay, I'm ready to go. Like, all right. I started the stream early because I thought things were getting going a little bit earlier than I thought they were going to.
Yeah.
So I started the stream a little early. So I was excited and get ready to go. Okay. So as we get into it, I've got my account all set up and ready to go. So once I think it was 11 a.m. My time. Okay, so it was 11 a.m. I load up the game, not able to get in. Okay, I'm like, all right, I've got, and I think I was like 2 minutes early. So I'm like, all right, just give it some time. Yep. They've not opened it up yet. So once 11 a.m. hit, I am trying to log in. It's not letting me in. Okay, and I have the DC Dual Force Discord open, so they've got a thread in there of like beta discussion. So I'm like watching it, trying to see what's happening in there. I have Twitch open for other streamers like Mogwai, Willow, I've a bunch of card game streamers. Okay, I'm like, okay, so I see that these people are in the game. Okay, I'm like, all right, so looks like they're now. Didn't know if they were playing or what. Okay, but I could not, for the life of me, I could not log in. Okay, I am like, it kept kicking me out. Server errors, not letting you in. So I'm just like, all right, well, this is the reason for the beta weekend. It's a stress test. They're needing to put their servers under the stress. Okay, So I'm constantly checking the server. I've got Twitch open. And at this point, I'm going to all these other streamers. I go to Mogwai. He's not able to log in either. Nobody is having any luck. Okay. And so I'm just like, all right, well, this is after about 30 minutes, still nothing. After about an hour, I'm like, all right, this ain't happening. So I think I logged out. I ended up streaming Marvel Snap. I'm like, all right, we'll give them some time. I pulled up their Twitter. They were radio silent on Twitter for for an hour. Okay. Wow. It took them a while to say anything on Twitter. And so I'm just like, well, this is not good. Like you need to be communicating with the audience. Now they eventually did. I don't remember how long after the weekend actually started for them to actually come out and say something. Okay. But it did take them a while. Okay. Now they did. I'm like, all right, well, that's a good move. Okay. They're like, bear with us, be patient. We are doing everything we can to, fix the servers in real time. And so, but to me, I'm just like, okay, how many beta keys did you give out? How can you not be prepared for a server load with the amount of keys that you've given out? Like if you gave out 5,000 beta keys, you should be prepared to handle that server load. Now, granted, I am not a programmer. I have no knowledge about how any of this stuff works. Okay. But I'm just trying to think through these problems and what they should encounter. And to me, I'm just like, should you not at least be prepared for something like that? Could you not foresee that type of load? But in the same breath, also understanding that this is the reason they are having these weekends to test the servers, to make sure they
beta test the servers,
correct, to make sure they get everything out. But still, when you take the day off of work to stream it, and you're not able to play it, it's frustrating. Yeah. So long story short, eventually I was able to get in and play like the tutorial. So I think I was able to get in for all of like 30 minutes maybe and play the game. Yeah. But again, just going through like the tutorials. Okay. That was like all I was able to do. Yeah. Okay. Eventually they came out and they said they were going to extend that day until like 7 p.m. Well, they ended up cutting it off. They ended up cutting it off extremely short because they were having issue after issue after issue. Then they issued a tweet the following day in the morning. So I'm like, all right, well, we'll give them the night. Hopefully they should get everything fixed and ready for tomorrow. They issued a tweet Saturday morning being like, yeah, guys, sorry, we were up all night and we still weren't able to fix anything. We're canceling the beta weekend. Yeah. So I'm like, dude, this is not how you launch a game. That was my initial thought, right? That was one of my initial thoughts.
Apparently, the beta key wasn't to play the game. It was to test their servers. So it was like, hey, here's a beta key to even just get into our servers, and that's it. Yeah. That's all you got.
So, again, I'm coming at this with two kind of opposing thoughts, right? One of them being I'm frustrated and ticked off that I'm here to play a game and I can't even do that. Yeah. But then I also have the realization of, yes, this is just they are doing this to test the servers to make sure that they are fixing everything for the official launch, right? Yeah. But also, I'm just like, to me, this just shows, I don't want to say I don't want to say incompetence. Okay. Yeah. I don't, because again, I don't have the knowledge necessary to come to an informed decision about what the issue was. Like if they just don't have the experience or what the actual issue was. Right. Right. The only thing that I know is that I was frustrated because I couldn't play the game. That's what I know. And that's the feeling a lot of players were left with. Yeah. And I think because of that weekend, you turned off a lot of potential players. Yeah. Right or wrong, that's what happened. Yeah. Doesn't matter if it's right, doesn't matter if it's wrong. Yeah. That is the reality of the situation. Yeah. Because you've shown, regardless of, yes, this was the reason for the weekend, don't hype it up. Do not hype it up to this extent and then not be able to follow through. Yeah. This is the epitome of overselling and underdelivering. This is the epitome of that. And that's exactly what happened. So do you have any similar stories, experiences of failed beta weekends?
Man. So for beta specifically, not too many, but for launch days of expansions for WoW, the worst one that I've been a part of, and from what I hear, the worst one was Warlords of Draenor, which was their 5th expansion.
Okay.
Yeah, Base, Burning Crusade, Wrath, Keta, Mop. Yeah, their 5th one. And after you got through like this starting tutorial part, it was more of just to introduce you and get you into the world of the new expansion.
Okay.
Your character doesn't load. You're like, you're moving around as a blank screen.
Oh no.
And then when you do finally get in there, and you start to go talk to the NPCs, they're like, oh yeah, you talk to this one over here. He's not there. And when he is finally there, you talk to him. He's like, oh, go over here and everything. He doesn't show up. More NPCs in the main town when you finally get there aren't showing up for a ridiculous amount of time. I think some people are waiting like 2 hours for these characters to spawn. Finally, things start happening, but I think it was for the first 2 days, it was like that.
Yeah.
It was a complete mess. This is probably the worst I've ever seen it. And then there was one for League of Legends. A character came out. I believe it was Darius. You would be waiting in line to get into the game for 2-3 hours. Some people, when they get DC, they're like, all right, I'm done with this stream. Time to go to bed. Some people posted that they waited for 7 hours to get into the game.
Oh my goodness.
People would set it up, go to work, come back, and they still have to wait a little bit to get into the game.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there have been a lot of ridiculous startups for some of this stuff.
Wow. And I mean, bugs happen, and like there's a lot of times too where it's like you can't predict what's going to happen with stuff. So again, that's where I it's understandable. Like I get it. I get it. It doesn't take the sting away though. Like cuz it's still frustrating and it sucks. Like that's the big thing. It's like I was looking forward to playing a game and I couldn't do it. Like that experience was taken away from me. So that stings, right? And it's that sting that I think a lot of people are just going to be left with, right? I mean, I feel like this episode is kind of like a case study, and especially with a lot of it's really a lot of stuff that's going on right now. And I mean, if you look at Dual Force, like just the history of this game so far, this game was originally announced in October of 2021.
Holy cow, that long
Do you remember when we initially talked about it?
Yeah.
Like this was a long time ago when this game was initially discussed.
Yeah.
And they said it was going to launch in 2022.
Turns out that was a lie.
Lie detector test came back. So I think this game has just gone through, and I have some inside scoops of like what went on behind the scenes. There's just a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes that you can't predict, and just stuff happens. Stuff happens, and it's unfortunate sometimes, right? But you know, like and sometimes there are just some projects that are just riddled with issues, and through no fault of developers, through no fault of creators, just things happen. Things happen sometimes, and it's unfortunate. So we'll see how much of an effect this beta weekend is going to have on the game as a whole.
Hopefully not a lot.
And one of the things that was interesting too, and I think they did this I think they did this the right way though, because before the open beta weekend, they had the streamer beta weekend.
Okay.
So they sent out, and that's how a lot of people got keys for the beta weekend was through streamers.
Yeah.
So I think that was smart by getting it in the hands of creators, right? Of streamers initially, and getting the game out there, like getting them to tell their audiences their thoughts.
Yeah.
So I think that is definitely the way to go, because their opinion, again, like the whole beta thing, that is an issue in and of itself. That is an issue that is separated from the game as a whole, right?
Yeah.
Now, if it continues to be an issue, then yes. I mean, wasn't Diablo 3 initially riddled with server issues for a long time at launch? Do you remember?
I believe so. Caused a lot of people to die on hardcore servers. But yeah, for the longest time, there were
that was an interesting sentence that he had to finish. It caused a lot of people to die. I'm like, where's he going with this? What are you talking about?
If you guys played it, all right, it's a game, hardcore servers, you only have one life in the game. All right, once your character dies, they're gone.
Gotcha. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it caused a lot of people to die, Dan.
But I can't remember who made this comment, but as I was streaming, they were surprised that the Diablo 4 launch went as smooth as it did.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
For all the issues that Blizzard has had in the past. But again, I was curious, like, because the person who made this comment was a programmer, and I'm like, you're a programmer, like this is your world. Like, can you like predict these things, or like, can you be prepared, or is it just like we have to wait, and then once everybody starts playing, okay, now all these problems are going to come up, and then we have to fix them in real time? Like, how actually does it actually work? So, but I think the majority of gamers don't think about that. They're just like, I can't play, and then they can't, and then they just give it up, and then they go do something else. Which I gave it up and went and played Marvel Snap when I couldn't stream it.
I also had the idea or the thought of, for a physical card game, you run into the problem of not being able to get products for the game. For digital card games,
especially at launch.
Yeah.
Especially at launch, yes.
For digital card games, it's like servers down.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. All right. So I'm actually just going to I'm going to continue this for a second because I can. So that day, for those of you listening, Jim had to step away. He does this sometimes. He's coughing a little bit. So, but I'm going to continue here. That weekend, and I just mentioned it. What's frustrating is I took that day off, and like I said, I was trying to stream for like 5 hours. So when I initially started, we were just shooting the breeze, talking about random stuff. Okay. And then I was excited to get into it, but there were so many people, and he's back, ladies and gentlemen. He is back. But it was funny though, as I had Twitch pulled up, I'm going through all these different streamers. Like, he's not in, they're not in, and nobody's able to do anything. But I did make one comment too, an offhanded joke. But there were some streamers who were able to get in, and I'm like, hashtag streamer privilege or whatever.
Streamer luck.
No privilege, because they were in the game the week before. But anyway, that was just an offhanded joke. But yeah, so DC Dual Force is a perfect example, okay, of a digital card game right now that there's just been a lot of stuff just happening. It's just not gone their way. Okay. And like I mentioned earlier, time will tell if it's going to affect the official launch of the game. Okay. One of the things that we talked about this when we did our DC Dual Force episode, but the artwork, there's been a lot of talk about the art. Some people were like, oh, they just went to Google Images. And I'm like, dude, yeah,
that's what they did.
Where did Google Images get these images from? It's the freaking comic books, guys. Come on, dude. So anyway, all right. So we move. So we start talking about TC Dual Force. Now let's move on to another card game that has yet to release, doing things in an interesting way. Disney Lorcana. All right, we have been talking about this game for a long time now. It is June. It's the mid to end of June right now.
Yeah.
Okay, game launches in late August, early August, sometime in August. It launches sometime in August. Okay. So before we dive in, Jim, what's your take so far on how Disney Lorcana is releasing information about the game and hyping it up prior to launch?
Yeah. I think they're doing an okay job of steadily releasing stuff since they've started, and getting new cards to people, I guess, like at the events for people to see things, for like those cold foils, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you mean at like Gamma?
Yeah.
They showed them off at Gamma.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I personally would like for things to be a little bit sped up at this point because we're how far from release?
Like 40-ish days, something like that.
So yeah, I personally would love to see every single card that they have so far.
Do you think we're gonna see the entirety of the card list prior to Gen Con?
We better.
I mean, I'm there with you, but do you think we will? Do you think we will is the question.
I don't think so.
So I think we should mention at this point, the Lorcana team did lose their oh goodness, not
marketing?
this, they're like lead marketer.
Yeah.
It was Cassidy Werner. She was doing a phenomenal job, but she left Ravensburger. This position has been filled. I can't remember the name of the new person, but it has been filled. And I do know that they are actively involved in Lorcana HQ Discord. So like from my understanding, from all accounts that I have heard, they're doing this new individual is doing a really great job, like at interacting with the community. But I also think that's a different position from like interacting with the community is one thing, but like marketing for the game and releasing content and showing off cards and whatnot, that's completely different.
Yeah.
Right. So far, I don't have these numbers in front of me, but I think right now we're well under 50% of the card pool that has been released. Okay. I just did a spoiler video for six new cards. The last time we did a spoiler video before that was like a month and a half or 2 months ago. It's a long time. It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, I was going through our stuff. I'm like, I can't believe it's been this long since this thing.
Yeah, so like I'm looking at our Twitter right now, and so I posted that one. I'm trying to see if and the interesting thing to me, because I want to talk about this. They released this card. One of these spoilers was a response to a tweet from someone else.
Oh,
that was how they showed off this card. So I'm pulling up the tweet right now. Okay, so Adara at Ochem102 tweets at Disney Lorcana, "We love you, heart. Meme day celebration, haha." And then it was a meme of Olaf, says a newly revealed Lorcana card, and then me as Olaf, basically. Okay.
Oh my!
And then Disney Lorcana responded to that with a card, like. That's a way to do it. Yeah. And like, I mean, it's a way to get the community, portion of the community hyped, I guess, people who are going to see that. And my understanding as well is they released a card in the Lorcana HQ Discord server. So
they should just give us a card to spoil.
Give us a card to spoil?
Give us a card.
You heard it here at Disney Lorcana. Give us a card
Make it happen.
Spoil. Please. But like that's also a whole other
I'll even pay for shipping and handling. I'm down. Send me a card. Physical card, Dan. Send me a physical card.
Cold foil, please.
No foil.
I'll take the foil as long as it's cold foil. Those ones are gorgeous, dude. Those ones are gorgeous.
Yeah,
Like the cold foils, those ones are nice.
Yeah,
There's other foiled
other garbage
from
no.
Yeah,
the Pringles.
The Pringles.
I love Pringles, but I don't love Pringles.
yeah. I mean, okay, my take on so far how Lorcana has been releasing their game. I think they're getting by because it's a Disney. I think that's the reason people are staying interested. If this was not a Disney game, I think there'd be a lot of people losing interest because prior to this past spoiler, okay, when they showed off those 6 cards within a similar time frame, okay, we hadn't seen stuff for months. We haven't seen stuff for a long time. And I think if this is any other IP, there's going to be people losing interest. Okay. Yeah. I think if this was Alpha Clash, okay, or again, a new IP that has not grown legs yet, people are just going to lose interest. They don't have a reason to stick around. People have a reason to stick around for Disney Lorcana because it's a well-established brand. Okay. And honestly, it's the nostalgia factor. So many people are going into this game because they love Disney and they love games. Okay. And there's a lot of people too who are new into TCGs, who haven't played TCGs before, but this is getting them in because they're Disney. they love the Disney brand. Yep. Okay.
They might not even know it's a trading card game. They're just like, it's a Disney game.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people who are like, I'm interested and I have no idea what I'm doing with TCGs. Building a deck, please, no, don't. That's a whole other thing, which we'll definitely. I got some ideas on deck building videos because I know deck building is daunting. Deck building is daunting. So do I. I do as well. I do as well.
Literally the best part. It's the best part. All right, that's a lie. It's the second best part. Do you know what the first best part about trading cards are?
What?
Trading card games?
What?
The people you meet along the way.
I mean,
as long as they're cool people.
But what's the difference of how is that different from any other game?
I never said it was.
But then if it's the same, but then if that's my only point is like I don't necessarily disagree with you, right? But that doesn't set it apart. That doesn't set it apart from anything else because you can meet people in any profession in any game.
Yes.
So by that same logic,
yes,
then that makes everything the best.
Yes, that is the best part about life.
But then it's not
people you meet along the journey.
But then I get what you're saying. I think it's a cop out. Jim has said this so many times. I'm like, I love you people. I love you people.
About card games, guys.
Do you like deck building more versus piloting the deck, right?
Yeah, I kind of do.
You would much rather just build the deck and have somebody else pilot it.
Yeah. I just like the theory crafting part. Yeah.
Is there any theory crafting and piloting? Because I mean, like the thing that I enjoy about piloting, right, is the real time problem solving.
Yeah, there definitely can be, especially if you find something that you didn't originally see when creating the deck.
Yeah, and
you're like, oh, all right, I did just put this stuff together.
Yeah.
So
I love finding that line on the fly.
Yeah,
and then like it all comes together and like yes.
Or you think of other things you can add into it while playing it. You're like, oh wait, this would be so much better.
Yeah. And that's like honestly building a deck is a dance because it's not just it's not one and done. Yeah. It's a process.
Yeah, I also put like the play testing part of the deck along with the theory crafting rather than it just being like, oh yeah, this is the final version of it.
Yeah. Because you can't just sit down and build it and then be done.
Yeah,
like you have to iterate.
Yeah,
it is an iterative process for sure.
100%.
For sure. Yeah. But Lorcana is another good. I I guess, what word did I literally just use? Oh, not use case. You know what I'm talking about. I can't remember what word I was just using. Goodness gracious. It's a good example of what we're talking of the topic at hand.
What are we talking about again?
Yeah, how not to launch a card game.
How not to launch a card game.
Yeah, so the first was DC Dual Force. Okay, and at this point we've kind of just gone through that because that was just years. And going back to the Dual Force talk, with your experience in the digital arena, do you think everything that's happened prior to this weekend, do you think that's going to have an effect on the actual launch of the game?
I could definitely see it being a problem towards the start. But I think after about like a year, as long as things go well, I don't really see it being a problem.
Yeah, well, because at that point it's people are going to look at what's happened since launch. Yeah. I think after a year, nobody cares about what happened prior to launch. Yeah. It's what's happened since.
Yeah. And with a lot of games, the initial release or release date that they come out with tends to really be like beta in a lot of games right now. And then after a year, it's like, all right, this is really what the game should have been.
Right.
You know, after they fix all bugs and whatever other problems they're going to have.
Right.
With it.
Right.
So yeah, I'd say after a year, it's not really going to matter.
Okay. So now let me ask you the same question for Lorcana, right? Because I know as content creators, we've had our issues with like, we just want stuff to talk about. We want stuff to, put into content, right? Yeah. Same question applied to Lorcana. Do you think what's happened prior to today, right, as far as releases go, do you think any of that is going to matter once the game has launched? Do you think this is affecting people getting into the game or not?
I don't think so, really, because I do think it is important to have a little bit of mystery to your game.
Yeah.
Because it tends to keep people looking out for it, or in their mind have a different idea for it in terms of how excited they are. Because with MMOs, the less you know about something, the more excited you are for it.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I guess that could be more than just MMOs. I just noticed for that stuff.
Now, are you talking about like a new IP or
both?
Okay.
It can either be something brand new or something that is just evolved with an expansion. Okay. So yeah, it's really like, we joked about how a lot of people would say this is the greatest card game ever created, Lorcana.
Right.
We didn't even know how to play it.
Right.
And everyone, but it was just that excitement level and the unknown about it. So I think they're doing okay with how they're steadily releasing stuff. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have all this stuff come Gen Con.
You're pretty sure?
I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident.
Okay. All right. How much money are you willing to put down now?
By the end of Gen Con, we will know every card in the set.
By the end of Gen Con. All right. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. By the end of Gen Con, the Sunday of Gen Con, we will know every single card in the first set of Disney and Lorcana.
Speculation.
Videos. Yeah, I think we probably will, because there's going to be people opening product there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Got him.
That's why I didn't say by Gen Con. By the end of Gen Con. Yeah. That was my whole reason for it. I'm like, people are going to be cracking stuff, so I'm pretty sure we're going to know everything.
Yeah. Are you okay? We've talked about one of the. I guess this is kind of in relation to the topic at hand, right? Of how not to launch a card game, right? One of the things that is very much in relation to this, because they are using Gen Con as like their big launch, I think, right? Yeah. And one of the things they're doing is they're having like a tournament, at Gen Con. Jim doesn't want to play.
I kind of don't.
but again, this is a thing where there's a ton of people who want to play and can't get tickets. Yeah. Because there's been like, oh, I've got 4 tickets. And it's been a debacle. Yeah. Okay. And I don't know
We get the tickets and resell them.
No, but see, that's the thing. Like, you can't get a ticket and give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure that's against the Gen Con policy, I think. Okay. So I'm like, when I see these people getting more tickets, I'm like, I don't think you're actually allowed to do that. Because it specifically says, I'm fairly certain, I'm like 99% sure that if you have an event ticket, you can't give it to somebody else. Because when you have an event ticket, like, you are registered for it. Like, it's registered under your account.
Yeah.
So it's like a digital thing that you can't just give to somebody else.
That's weird to me, because it's like, all right, well, then we both would have to be at the location to sign up for something. And you can't just be like, oh, hey, I got us a ticket for this.
It's different for us, though, because like we're a part of the same organization.
Yeah.
And so like when we get tickets, I can get a ticket for both of us. Okay. So that's for organizations, it's different. Right. Okay. But like, if I'm just giving someone who has no affiliation to Hobbies and Happiness, like, that's basically reselling and giving to somebody else, which I'm pretty sure it violates. Somebody is going to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly certain I'm right on this. Okay. So yeah. So what they had to do is, I think they had to go back and try to get more spots open. But it's been a debacle for the most part. I think I tried getting a spot and then I just gave up. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I didn't care enough, because I'm like, I'll still be able to play. I'm still gonna be able to play the game, right? I'm not worried about that.
I just don't want to be thrown into this pre-con tournament. I'm like, if we put something together ourselves with like 3 or 2 other people,
and I know there's going to be stuff with other content creators too. Like, we are going to be getting together. Like, that's already going to happen.
It's going to be like, let's find out who the second best Lorcana content creator is. You know, that'll be it. It'll be like, all right, you guys figure out which one of you is the second best.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Oh man, I'm like,
kind of important to know. So.
Oh man,
we got him, boys.
Goodness gracious, we got him. Burn.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh man. All right, so let's move on, because one of the other games I wanted to touch on, who I think is doing things the right way, and that's not to say everyone else is doing things the wrong way, but I think what Star Wars Unlimited is doing is phenomenal. Okay, they are regularly releasing content through their Twitter channels. Like, and it's not necessarily an entire card. Like, I think every week it's like a new piece of art, a card, it's something. We just recently got a new card. It was called, man, what was it called? It's like, I Am Your Father.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that 3-cost gambit. We got that. When did we get this? Oh, that was for Father's Day. That was like the Father's Day one, which makes sense, right? And then 3 days ago, we got artwork for Cassian Andor. And then we got Leia Organa about a couple weeks ago. They're regularly releasing, again, if it's not a card, it's artwork. Okay. And that keeps people engaged. That is, they are doing a really good job about keeping people engaged. And again, they're not necessarily showing you the card, they're just showing you artwork. And keeping people very intrigued and interested. I do have a sign up for a demo of Star Wars Unlimited at Gen Con. So I'm looking forward to that, because I think this game is going to be very, very interesting. Okay?
I can't wait to play Jabba the Hutt Tribal.
Jabba the Hutt Tribal.
I don't know if it's going to be a thing, but I want it to be.
And this is another game where I think they're doing a smart move by making you build a deck around a central character.
Yeah. I like that.
So and that's one of the things I love about Alpha Clash, right? And so I think Star Wars Unlimited is doing I think there's a lot that I like about this game. Okay. So I told you there's 2 games that I am in for, and that's Alpha Clash and Disney Lorcana. Star Wars Unlimited might be next in line. So I'm interested. I'm intrigued with Shadowverse. I'm very intrigued with that. But yeah, I think Star Wars Unlimited is doing a lot of things right. They are keeping people engaged. They are keeping people intrigued. They are like, hey, don't miss, because don't stop following us, because you might miss a card. You might miss a, and they're regularly stuff. So I think they're doing a really, 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 really good job.
The thing I like about the Star Wars Unlimited, it kind of gives me a retro feel for the cards, the frame, the artwork. But then like the box or the artwork that they have on the quick start rules is not retro at all. So they kind of like mix these two together.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, the it's more futuristic, it's also retro looking.
Yeah. And again, also, since we're talking about Star Wars Unlimited, I want to give a shout out to some of our friends, Flake and Charmer. They have started a new podcast called Wampa Radio. All right. So it is a Star Wars Unlimited podcast. So if you guys are interested in Star Wars Unlimited, definitely go check out Wampa. I believe it's called Wampa Radio. I was actually, I sent Flake a message on Discord and was like, you doing anything for Star Wars Unlimited? And he told me about this project. It was like, awesome. That's really cool. So definitely, guys, go check that out if you are at all interested in Star Wars Unlimited.
Cool dudes. Dudes.
Phenomenal. Those guys are awesome. I'm definitely keeping an eye out for Star Wars Unlimited. I'm interested to see what it's going to look like at Gen Con. Very, very interested. So
you only like it because it's Disney.
For the majority of my life, it was not Disney. Okay, the majority of my life, it was not. When did Disney acquire it?
I have no idea. 2010.
It's been as it 20. Was it 2010? Oh, you don't know.
I'm just guessing. I just throw out a number.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. I think. Are you looking?
Yeah, I'm checking right now.
What?
2012.
20. You were close. 2012.
11 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, 11 years ago. Wow. So, yeah. Okay. I want to kick it to you, Jim. Are there any other games that come to that immediately come to your mind right now that are releasing that you're keeping an eye on, or you think you're doing a good job, or not? I know we've touched a little bit on Grand Archive. Are you following any Japanese style card games right now?
The other one that I tend to look at every now and again is the Shadowverse.
Shadowverse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I played it digitally a few years ago, and then I found out that they kind of changed their aesthetic. It seems like the artwork is still the same, but when they made their like, I think it's an anime that they made, then they started adding like different artwork for the characters. It is more anime versus this more realistic gothic appeal for how their game used to be.
Yeah.
It was a really big shift for me. So I'm like, it's still really cool. They made a physical card game. I'm excited for, and it looks amazing. The artwork, the cards look amazing. I can't wait for it to. Or is it out in US now? I forget exactly.
I don't know, man.
I remember that I saw the starter decks. You're able to buy them in the US. I just don't know if they're in English. So.
Oh, it's on sale at the end of June.
Oh, very soon.
Yeah, I just pulled up their Twitter. Shadowverse Evolve Booster Set number 1, Advent of Genesis, on sale June 30th.
Beautiful.
So
I'm gonna get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we should see if we can get some starter decks and just bust out some games and see what 100%. We think. Why does it keep doing that? Yeah, because if it's anything like the digital card game, I mean, I like the digital card game. The digital card game is a lot of fun. I mean, like, guys, it's a lot of fun. Like, if you have never played Shadowverse, go download it and play it.
Oh, dude, I'm looking at the starter decks right now. These characters look so sick. I love them.
Yeah. So once we finish this episode, we're going to go to shadowverse-evolve.com and check it out because this looks very, You were the one who actually turned me on to this game. Like you had told me that this was coming.
Yep.
And
this was, I think, grapple was still a thing.
So
when I learned about this.
Okay, so they're already set 1. Okay, goodness gracious. There's 6 starter decks? Holy cow.
Yeah, there's 6.
6 starter decks.
And
then set 2 comes out end of September.
Yeah.
And then set 1. Dude, this art looks super sick.
I'm so
sick,
excited
dude.
to play this.
This looks super sick. Yeah. Yeah. We'll definitely pick up those starter decks for sure. And
100%.
We'll definitely check that out. And again, were you only interested in this game because of the digital CCG?
Well, I mean,
that's how you
I learned about it.
Yeah,
I learned about the gameplay through the game, and I was just like, I really did like a lot of the stuff that they did in it.
But how long have you been playing Shadowverse?
It's been a couple of years since I have played it. I played it for a little bit. I didn't go like too far into it. I didn't invest a lot into it back then. But I am excited to play it now.
I think Jim's excited to play this game, guys.
Guys, you don't really know. All right. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
You're not wrong. It very much is. So yeah, I'm excited to get my hands on these cards and really see what this game is like. So yeah, I mean,
I think I'm more excited for this than Lorcana.
You probably are, yeah. You probably
so.
are, yeah. But there's only so many card games that I can actually play.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's where it's like I'm really torn in. Like for me, Alpha Clash, I'm definitely in an Alpha Clash. Like because like I'm already a part of that community and we have that relationship now with Ridge and the dev team. Really excited about that game. Lorcana for me also is I'm pretty sure I'm there. Pretty sure I'm there, right? But again, time will tell like how deep. Because for me, I really want to be in that game if it's deep. If it's just if it's super shallow, then I'm like, is that going to scratch that strategic itch? I think it will. And obviously, the more cards that we're going to see, the better. But I think Shadowverse is going to be next on that list for sure. So, yeah. So this was kind of a clickbaity title ish, right? But it's a good.
Is it though?
I mean, it is kind of a clickbaity title, right? Right. But it's not. I mean, hopefully we followed through because I think we definitely did with those first 2 for sure. But it's a good topic to really think about because again, as a marketer, your goal is to get people to look at your product.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, not only a marketer, but as a creator, like you got to get people to look, but then you have to follow. You need to get them initially to look, but then stay.
Yeah. You
got to get them to stay.
Yeah. And
those are 2 separate things. 2 separate discussions that you're talking about, right? Because you can get them to look and then them not stay. And then it doesn't matter that they looked. Like that doesn't matter. Because if they didn't stay, it doesn't matter that they looked initially.
Yeah.
So it's tricky. It's a very, very difficult process. And I don't envy anybody those jobs at all.
Yeah.
So
seems a little difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, Jim, if you had to pick one game that you are most excited to get into, because real quick, okay, let's take a step back.
Yeah.
Okay. Like how many card games are you actively playing at the moment?
Actively playing
on a somewhat consistent basis.
Man, I don't even know if I'm playing any card games right now actively.
Do you want to be though?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy playing Magic. I really enjoy playing Yu-Gi-Oh as well. I love the big 3. I've had a good time playing all of them.
When's the last time you played Pokemon?
It's been a few months.
Have you played it
on there online?
Have you when's the last time you played a physical
2020 maybe?
So you haven't played it since we've played it on stream.
Yeah.
Not surprised. Neither.
Yeah, I know. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But I'd say for card games I'm most excited for, I'm not putting Lorcana number 1 because I don't think I'm gonna be good at it. Because I
because
there's no going face.
because that game doesn't fit your play style and what you like to do.
Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense. And that makes total sense. Right.
I hope it does great, and I'm for sure going to be in the market for stuff. But it's just not the one I'm most excited for. I've played Shadowverse. I am looking forward to that one. Aesthetically and gameplay wise, I know I'd like it.
Okay.
For Dual Force, I mean, is that even a game? I don't know. We're gonna find out. And Star Wars seems cool as well.
Yeah.
So
Star
as of
Wars
right now, I think since we brought up Shadowverse, I definitely have had the biggest smile on my face.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with that one.
All right. Well, with that topic out of the way, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the card of the week. Okay. Card of the week this week is a card that was recently spoiled from Lorcana. Okay, and we talked about it a little bit before, but it's Genie. It is Genie on the job. Genie on the job. So Genie is an Emerald card. I am really liking these Emerald cards so far.
Nice.
They're nice. Very interesting, and I think they fit. It's fitting into that blue archetype. From game like Magic. Okay. So I'm really curious to see how much this card pool, right? These Emerald cards are going to fit into this similar play style. So Genie on the Job is a 6-cost, 3/4/2 is non-inkable, the Storyborn ally with evasive. And he has the ability disappear. When you play this character, you may return chosen character to their player's hand. Jim, what's your initial thoughts on this card? Because, guys, if you haven't yet, go check out our spoiler video. I gave you my initial thoughts on that card. I'll touch on it here, but if you want my fully uninterrupted thoughts, go check out that video. But Jim, what's your initial take on this?
When I first saw this, I thought it was a bad card, man. I ain't gonna lie. Especially when you said non-inkable. I'm like, and you can't even put, okay, it's an even worse card. I'm not the biggest fan. 6 is a lot of mana. 6 is I'll ink.
Yeah, stop using mana. Stop using the word mana.
6 is a lot of resources.
True.
The bounce is definitely a good effect. The evasive on it is really nice to just get 2 victory points. Is that what they're called again? I forgot. Lore counters.
Just lore.
Just lore.
Just lore.
All right, just lore.
There you go.
It's been a while since I've talked about Disney.
Yep.
Nothing jumps out at me. It just does not jump out at me as being an amazing card.
I mean, it's not broken. It's not like top tier. I think this is a solid card. I think it's solid. Okay.
I just think it's an okay card.
Okay. So, I mean, there's not a lot of cards right now that have evasive.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means,
can be very important.
I think is going to be very important. Okay. Because this is a card that will come down late game, okay, but is just going to keep questing, okay? So it's going to quest for 2 pretty much every turn every turn after the card comes down, okay? But also, he's going to get you something good back to your hand, okay? And if you wanted to, he could target himself because it doesn't say other, okay? I don't know why you'd want to do that.
You don't.
Right? There might be some effect. There might be some cards with some different effects. Who knows? I highly doubt you're going to want to do that.
ETB get effect.
But the question though is, it costs 6. So how long is it going to take? I mean, with 0 acceleration, that's turn 6.
Yeah.
0 acceleration is turn 6. And from what I've seen, we have yet to play test this game.
Yeah.
Speaking of, do you want to play test this before Gen Con? Because I mean, it's very easy, guys. You can print out proxies if you want.
I'm going to say no.
You don't want to?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think I do.
But from what I've seen, like once you hit turn 6, turn 7, you're not having a lot of cards in your hand. Now, granted, we don't have the entire card pool. And that's one of the reasons I don't want to play. I don't want to brew. I don't want to play test anything because I don't have the entire card pool. Right? I can understand people brewing and playing with the cards because they want, like, I get it. It's understandable, but I don't really want to do that because my standpoint is like I can't effectively brew a list if I don't have all the information that's available to me.
I would, even though this doesn't matter at all, right? If say we played, right, and say I lost over whatever reasons, and I'm like, then I find out about this new card, I'm like, I would have played that. It could have put in so much work for me. I wish I knew about this card.
Right.
Again, it doesn't matter at all.
Right, exactly.
But that's how I would think
exactly.
when I come across it.
So one of the things that I want to ask you, okay, is the inkable status. Okay. I want to get your take on this, okay? Because my thought is the fact that Genie is not inkable doesn't make it better or worse, okay? And this is kind of hard to put into words here, but I kind of like the fact that he's non-inkable, okay, because it forces you to play the card and not use it for resource. So for Genie, okay, if I was building a deck, okay, again, with the limited amount of information I have, right, 6 cost, non-inkable, I probably would not put a full play set in. Let's assume play set's 4. I would probably only play 3 max. Because now, if he was inkable, I might throw in a 4th copy because then I get it early game. I can throw it down.
Throw him out there.
I can throw it down as a resource. Okay, but there are important in scare quotes here. Okay, if the game is forcing you to play a card, okay, it eliminates that feels bad of, oh shoot, I already used this card as a resource and I would love to have that copy in my hand to utilize at this very moment. Right. So that's how my thinking is. Okay. But again, I'm struggling to say it's good, bad, or better or worse. It is. But I want to get what's your take on a card, the inkable status of a card.
I think
because real quick though, does it matter? Yes, it matters. It matters because you need to be able to play your cards, and how to play your cards, you use resources, right? So it matters, right? But how much does it matter is kind of the question.
When you said that you don't think that if this card was inkable or not turns it into a good or a bad card, I think if it was inkable, it is instantly a better card than what it is currently. Because like you were saying, it's a big card to where it forces you to use it, but it's a big card that you don't want to have in your hand early. So it's the question. So I need it to be inkable.
So the question. So it honestly, I think what it comes down to is it's the opportunity cost of deck building.
Yeah,
that's really what it is. Because if you have 4 copies in your deck, okay. That's 4 less other cards that could be in your deck. Okay. So if you have all cards that are inkable, and you're operating off the assumption, well, every card that's in my hand, I'm going to be able to ink. Okay. You are missing out on all these other cards that you could be putting in your deck just because they're non-inkable.
Yeah. Which I definitely understand that. And I also want to say that I don't think this card is just good enough for it to be that card fair. It's just not inkable.
Sure.
So it just doesn't jump out at me of being like, oh yeah, I would definitely play this because it's just such a good card. I don't care that it's not inkable.
No, I think this card also is like, it's not necessarily a linchpin, but you're building this around other cards that have those ETB effects. Yeah. Like that's what this just gives me another copy of these other cards. That's all this does. Yeah. Right. So that's why I say I think it's solid, because again, it's versatile from the standpoint of I can bounce my opponent's stuff and I can bounce my own stuff, which in a game where summoning sickness is a thing makes effects like this that much more valuable. Yeah. So, which, I mean, they're already bounce effects are already powerful anyway, because again, if you bounce an 8-drop, that's 8 resources your opponent more resources your opponent has to spend to get that effect again.
It's a really nice tempo swing.
Exactly. So that's the whole inkable, non-inkable thing is something that I'm very interested in because I do think it honestly it just comes down to opportunity cost. It's really just opportunity cost of cards that you are putting in your deck or what you're not putting in your deck.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Also, real quick on the artwork, I didn't realize he was spinning his finger, and I'm like, oh, he has 3 fingers. What are the other 2 fingers doing? And I'm like, I look at his other hand. I'm like, he just has 4 fingers. How does he have 5 fingers and not a thumb?
Yeah, he's spinning the palace guard is what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's making him disappear.
Yeah. Also, for anyone who plays Magic here and you were hoping that the genie did a wish effect, yeah, I thought the same thing.
Doesn't mean they can't have a card like that in the future, but I don't think there's gonna.
Is there even a sideboard?
I don't think they're gonna have.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I'd have to look. Yeah. I honestly, I doubt it.
Yeah.
In a game like this, I doubt it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is Genie on the job. An interesting card to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
An interesting card to say the least. It's definitely an underwhelming stat line, but again, for a card that has evasion, that has evasive on it,
yeah.
It can't be too crazy though. Yeah. So let me ask you this: what would it take for this card to pop at you?
3 lore.
3 lore.
3 lore. Amazing card. 3 lore.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you. Yeah,
I would run this in all green decks if it was 3 lore. All right, maybe not all of them.
I'm just trying to think. I'd have to look and see what cards have been released if there's any that have 3 lore. I know Mickey has 4.
I'm pretty sure
Mickey has 4. Well, I'm gonna have to look at that because I'm not certain. I'm not certain that there are, and I'm gonna see if we're gonna do this live. I'm gonna see if I can pull them up here. So we're gonna go to cards. We're gonna go to card library. Inkwell, nope. Sort by. Can we do sort? They don't have. Okay, we're just gonna skim through these. 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. A lot of 2s, a lot of 1s. Another 2, another 2. Bro, I think they're saving these. Oh wait, Moana. Moana's got 3.
Oh, Moana. Yeah,
Moana's got 3. And then Mickey Mouse, Brave Little Tailor's got the 4.
She's an amazing card though.
Oh, Moana. Stitch Rockstar.
Oh, Stitch, yeah.
Stitch Rockstar.
All right, so we've seen a couple.
Yeah, so there's a couple right now. Yep. Stitch Rockstar.
They're also inkable.
They are inkable.
Good cards.
Those are inkable.
Good cards. I don't care that Moana has 1 damage. Attack doesn't matter apparently.
Yeah, 1/6. But again, you're probably you're not utilizing Moana for anything but questing. Yeah. You're most likely not. I doubt it.
Yeah.
Because again, especially with that other ability, triggers when she quests.
Like you're going to be getting those 3 counters and being like, "Hey, I'm real close to this now," and then get off your ability.
Yep. So that is this week's card of the week, Genie on the job. Like myself, some Aladdin cards. That's for sure. That is for sure. So, all right. Well, with that, guys, we're gonna kick it to you. What do you guys? Number one, what do you guys think of Genie? Let us know your thoughts on Genie if you're interested in Lorcana. But also, what's your take on what not to do when launching a card game? Do you announce it 3 years ago and then? Not saying,
and
but
then failed to be prepared for how many people you gave out beta keys to. Whatever.
Yeah, but guys, let me know. Let us question of the day. What are some games that you think are doing a bad job in their pre-release or launch of their new card game? And what games do you think are doing a really good job or a really okay job? Let us know what you guys think. Leave us a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on if you're listening to the audio version, shoot us an email. Let us know what you guys think. We'd be very interested to know. So with that, Jim, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at Jim Morgan HNH.
You guys can find me on Twitter at _DG Campbell. on Instagram at daniel.g.campbell. If you head over to our website, hobbiesandhappiness.com, you can find links to all of our social accounts and social platforms there as well. And yeah, thanks again, everybody, for hanging out with us today. This was a lot of fun. We're almost to episode 100. Almost. We've got 3 more episodes left, dude.
Super close.
3 more episodes left until we get to that hundo. So, all right. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us today. We appreciate it, and we will catch you in the next episode. See you, everybody.
Take care.